Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Speak Up podcast. I'm your host, Erika, and today on our first episode, we have a special guest. Her name starts with Ed and ends with Lynn, and she's my sister. Woo!
Hi, everyone. My name is Edline, and I'm 23. Right now, I'm studying my postgrad in human resources. And yeah, that's a little about me.
Cool. Thanks, Edlin. I guess to get to know you a little bit more, I'm just going to ask you one or two fun questions, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, awesome. So my first question is, if you could be any fruit, what would you be and why?
Okay, if I could be any fruit, I feel like I would be a mango.
Oh.
Mangoes are my favorite fruit, I would say, and I recently saw like this little passage on mangoes and how they're really resilient because they grow in heat and like constant heat, like in the tropics, and I just feel like I aspire to be like that, like under constant pressure. Like I'm kind of bad under pressure, but yeah, so I'd be mango.
Damn, that's very deep. That's really cool about the resilience of a mango, though. I never really considered that or thought about it. Awesome. I'm just gonna ask you one more question.
Okay.
So, do you like pineapples on your pizza?
That's definitely like a controversial topic. A lot of people don't like pineapples on their pizza, but personally, I don't mind it. I would eat it. I like Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah, cool.
And I like pizza in general, so whatever's on it, I'll try to eat it.
Yeah, that's true. That's me too. I guess we're gonna get into today's topic, and today I wanted us to talk about fear. So, I guess, what fears do you have?
Yeah, so I have a fear of like spiders, I guess, and like bugs. It's kind of like a irrational fear because they are like good for the earth, good for the planet, and like we have to like learn to live with them, but I just don't want them on me, near me. I don't want to talk to them. Yeah.
No, I think I agree with that because every time I'm like, holy crap, like there's a bug, can you kill it right now? And my friend would just say, no, they're good for the environment.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck? Like, that is disgusting though. But it is true. It is good for the environment and we need them and stuff.
Circle of life.
Circle of life. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm really afraid of bugs too, and I think you know that as well because we'll both be standing on a couch screaming and telling our dad to kill it with a vacuum cleaner. So, do you have a specific experience about bugs that stands out?
Well, that was like one of my experiences of what you mentioned when we were at our old house in Milton. We like had wild bugs because it was a construction like area near us. So sometimes in our house we would just find like huge like caterpillars, like I don't even know what they were. And yeah, we would just like see them like randomly, and then we just like hop up on a couch on the chairs and be like, Dad, get it. I remember this one time I was like by myself at home, and that's the worst when you're alone and no one can get it for you. And I was like actually in the washroom. So I was just in the washroom, and in the middle of the washroom is where the light is, and a huge spider from its web was like streaming down from the ceiling. And I was about to go like wash my hands, and it was like right in the middle of my face. I paused and I was like, what do I do? Because the washroom is small. There's like nowhere to go. It's either like that way or no way, or like the bathroom tub.
Yeah, like you have to pass the spider.
Yeah, I have to pass the spider.
You have to face your fears.
So I just froze there for like 10 minutes. Like, I don't even know how long it was.
Do you think it was God being like, face your fears?
Honestly, I just froze. I couldn't even think. But thankfully, my hero came, my dad. I heard him come from downstairs. He like closed the door and I was like, Dad! Like from the bathroom. And then he came in and he like opened the door and he was like, what the? Thankfully, the door wasn't locked.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, the spider was huge though.
Yeah.
It was like literally like big, maybe like bigger than a toonie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was those farmhouse spiders.
Mm-hmm.
I guess in other than bugs, what would you say like you fear about every day, or maybe like personally, what, if that makes sense? Like any deeper fears? I mean, a lot of people have irrational fears and like, oh, afraid of heights, afraid of like going on roller coasters, afraid of dying, I guess. I mean, it's not irrational, but it's just different types of fears. Do you think that you have another type of fear that you ever thought about?
I would say that like day to day, I definitely fear like failure and like not being happy, especially like at this time right now, like with like COVID and all that going on. Our lives just got like flipped upside down and you're kind of very reflective of like the past and like your relationships with people, what you've said, what you didn't say, and like I just fear that I'm not living like life as I could have, like, and living with like these regrets and learning how to live with them. Like I feel like that's a fear of mine, is just not living to like the fullest. Like that sounds very cheesy, but but yeah, like I'm just trying to live life happily.
That's true. No, I think a lot of people can relate and can really feel that type of fear right now, especially with everything going on. I guess even fear of losing people, because the virus is so contagious and can really harm people that are vulnerable. So I can see what you mean by not having said the things that you should have said. I don't know if that's what you meant. So like telling your grandma I love you or something, like you never said it enough. And then maybe something happens to another person and you were really close friends with them and you didn't get to tell them something. But I think that's normal and I think that's okay, and I think it's good that you're trying to live with that, because some people might think of it in a different way and just feel really down about it. Like you're trying your best to live life to the fullest, but maybe other people are like, oh, I can't do it, I can't live life to the fullest. Is that how you're feeling? Or
like I would say that those things that happened in the past, like it's definitely something you can't really change. It's things that you need to learn to live with and learn to accept, or learn to just do better. And like in relation to what you're saying of like losing people, it's definitely hard, especially right now, because like you don't know like when the last time was, like even like going out like with your friends, you didn't know that was the last time that you were gonna like have a game night or like go out for like ice cream or whatever it was. So yeah, like I'm not trying to dwell on like those things. I feel like that's maybe like a fear of mine, is like getting stuck in that and like not being able to move forward. Yeah,
the feeling of being stuck isn't a fear of yours. Yeah. Do you think that you feel really comfortable where you are right now, and like change is a fear for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. Especially like right now, you don't really know what the future is, what the future holds. It's definitely a fear of change because this was like a huge change that happened to all of us, and you just have to learn to adapt with it. You have to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like going back to the fear of change, being stuck in, let's say, one job for 5 years and being like, oh, it's okay, it's fine, like you get comfortable in that position, sorry, or you're in a relationship for like 5 years, or you're in I don't know, you're stuck in a mindset for 5 years and you're just going about your daily life just being comfortable and not necessarily growing from something. Do you think that like what do you think about that, or how do you think about change in career and like relationships, I guess? Yeah.
I definitely think it is a fear of mine of like all those things of like worrying about like, oh, is it the best like opportunity for me? Like what should I do in that situation? And making sure that you're choosing the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's necessary. You need to keep moving forward. You need to keep growing, building your career, building your relationships, and making sure that you're doing the best for you.
No, I definitely agree. I think whatever you choose to do, it always has to be whatever the best is for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I sometimes struggle with is looking for advice and not taking my own advice, if that makes sense. So I'll be like, oh, what do you think about this? Should I take this? Should I do this? What should I do? And I keep asking other people for their advice and their direction. But deep down, I feel like I know what I want to do and I know what direction I want to go in, but I'm looking for validation in other people.
Yeah, I'm so bad at that.
Yeah. I feel like some people get that validation from in different ways. If it's like posting on Instagram and they're getting that validation of getting likes and getting a validation of a compliment or something to reinforce the idea that you're good enough or that you look good today, even though maybe you don't even need that validation at all, and you can just say to yourself, I already know I look good. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
it's definitely like that confidence that you need in yourself. And
awesome. Yeah, so going into all these fears, we go from fear to bugs and fear to being in this environment that we're in right now, and fear of being stuck and not growing. I guess, how do you cope with these fears in your everyday life? Like, what would be your 1 or 2 best tips to give someone who's going through something that you're going through?
I'm definitely not an expert, as
For sure,
I'm like struggling right now with like what fears that I did say that I have. For example, like what I am doing right now, like with the whole COVID situation, since our mom is working, she works at like the post office, so she has to be there and it's a essential worker. I can't really do anything like when she's there, so what I did is like I made her like a bunch of face masks because that's something that I can do. That's something I can control, and I can't like fear like, oh, like what if there's another like COVID case like at her place or whatever. So yeah, definitely focusing on things that you can control and what you can do, and try not to like fixate on the little things that has happened before or things that will happen in the future. Like you just have to like go with the flow.
Yeah. No, I think that's a really good tip to give, especially right now. Maybe some people, like this COVID scenario, it has given people a sense of loss of control, right? So I think that's a really good tip. And you don't have to be an expert in something like that. I think it's your own personal experiences that is what gives value to whoever is listening out there. Yeah, that's really awesome. Do you have any other things that you want to talk about fear or?
going back to like...
Or do you have a question? Sorry.
Yeah, going back to the fear of like bugs and spiders, since we like share that. Growing up, we both were like super afraid of them. Like, I remember Mom would say that like she'd put us on grass and we would like start crying.
Yeah.
Like, I guess my question is for you is, with irrational fears, do you think that they would ever like go away, or that we would ever like grow out of it? Because we're like starting to become like young adults, so like I'm trying to change my mindset, but I don't know. What do you think?
So that's funny that you asked that, because yesterday there was this centipede in my room while I was having a Zoom call, and I had to remain calm on the call and just pretend that nothing was happening. So I let those centipede move around, and I didn't kill it until my Zoom call was over. So I think that is a sign of growing up and trying to face my fears and being like, okay, I'm way bigger than it is.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's something that someone always says to themselves, to be like, I'm bigger than them, I have more power than them, so I can conquer this fear. And I went downstairs, got the vacuum cleaner. I just sucked that little puppy up. But I think that maybe people won't exactly get rid of the fear, but they can calm the fear down. And try to conquer it, like how I tried to conquer it yesterday. Because in a normal scenario, or I guess a person of my past would flip out. I would throw
Your
stuff
iPad.
at it. Yeah. I killed a spider before with my iPad, and I had to go to the Apple store and get my iPad repaired. And the Apple worker was like, "Oh my goodness, what happened to your iPad?" And I told him I used it to kill a spider, and he just laughed at me.
Yeah.
And
Let's clarify that the screen was literally shattered.
The screen was shattered, and I don't really know what I was thinking, and it sounds really ridiculous because repairing the iPad, I had Apple Care, so it was maybe like $50 to repair. But even then, why am I killing a spider with my iPad? Why am I spending $50 to repair my iPad because of this spider? Yeah. Why is this spider conquering my life? Did it even die? I don't even know.
I can't recall.
Did it just destroy my iPad and ruin my day? And I think we have to not let the fear get to us, and that can help us with overcoming fears. Yeah, don't let it get to you, and just remember how powerful you are.
Yeah,
in the
you
situation.
were definitely powerful with the iPad. You had like a overcoming like emotion. You suddenly become so like confident in killing it, and you just used anything you had.
That is true. All I had in my hand that day was the iPad. Yeah. So I almost forgot about that day. But usually whatever I have in my hand, or whatever tools I have, so if it's a raid spray, I will spray the bug until there's no more raid spray. And I'm like, Dad, we need another raid spray. We just bought it yesterday. Yeah, there was a bug. I think that your mind, when you have a fear, it just goes to some other place, and you don't think clearly because you're in such a panic.
For sure.
But yeah. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a good tip.
Yeah, so that's our ramble. Dealing about the fears of the creepy crawlies in the house and outside of the house. In everyday life and in our past life.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Edline. Thank you for being a guest on my show, and I hope to have you here back again soon.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting. And just congratulations to killing that centipede yesterday. And for starting this podcast.
Thank you so much. I think the centipede is a bit bigger victory than this podcast. So thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.